Let's discuss the top 5 ways men are finally winning against the shackles of society that has tried to make sure they go against their own nature and end up becoming manual labor for women. Number 1. Freedom. With men going their own way, the greatest advantage they now have is that they have the time and freedom to live life according to how they want to live it. Previously, in relationships that were either casual or serious, men were bound to live according to the wishes of women. Let's face it. Most women want control. They want to control the man's habits, who they can or cannot be friends with, what they wear, their haircut, the food they should eat, and the career trajectory they want. Basically, women take over your life once you commit to them and tell them that you love them. These 3 words seal the deal of your imprisonment. Women want men who can be dependent on them and rely on them to make decisions. This is absurd because men have always made decisions as the one who leads the relationship. However, with the rise of feminist movements that have sought to empower women, women believe that everything should be under their control and that a real man should be able to let the woman make all the decisions. A lot of men have fallen for this sort of social narrative development and manipulation that seeks to feminize men just so that the woman can make decisions on her own and see herself as an empowered woman. Thankfully, as more and more men have started to realize this and go their own way, they have recognized the importance of freedom a man needs to live a healthy life. Men can now save their money, spend on what they want, and go on that vacation without having to worry about someone nagging all the time, trying to decide what to buy or what not to buy, and not putting anything on the table herself even though she's all talk about equality and female empowerment. Number 2. Rise in mgtow content. The rise of mgtow has led to a rise in the content regarding mgtow online. It has also allowed everyone to see how there are so many misconceptions about mgtow. To make it clear, the purpose of mgtow or men going their own way is not to hate on women or to say that men shouldn't be nice to them. Its purpose is to communicate with men who have been burnt by women in relationships in order to let them know that there are other guys around the world have been facing or have faced similar issues at their end, even if they're on another continent across the world. Its purpose is to educate men and tell them that marriage and relationships are not a necessity. That they are not obligated to help women. That it's okay if they don't want to be in a relationship with women. It's okay to live a happy life with yourself, as you maintain great relationships with your family and friends. Society has conditioned men to think that it's their duty and responsibility to support women. The double standard here is that yes, this used to be true once. But that was 100 years ago when men were the hunters and protectors of their families, and women were happy being the caregivers and nurturers of their families. What has happened now is that women still think the laws applied to men 100 years ago in which they provided and cared for women should still exist today, even when the role of women is not the same. Now women are decision makers and CEOs and prime ministers and presidents. They are not what they used to be back then. They are career-minded and ambitious, and a lot of them choose to stay single until the end of their 30s, after which they frantically look for a partner to have children with because they realize their biological clock is ticking. So, why should men be obligated to provide for them even in today's world where everything has changed so much? The mgtow community has definitely raised awareness about such hypocrisies that men are still subject to in society. This will help other young men face the music that women play. Number 3. Awareness in women. Another important thing that has happened in the last couple of years is the awareness about men's rights in the minds of women. Since men don't have the power of the media or the governments to support and back them, they have had to resort to the internet and social media in order to express their opinions about how they feel that today's practices are against men in general and paint all of them with the same brush. Obviously, there are bad apples everywhere, but when the laws are designed to work in favor of women and against men as a whole, it really does seem unfair when men who are not to blame are blamed and punished for being men. Just think about all the divorces where women who are already rich get to have the assets that men have saved their whole lives to purchase. With mgtow and online platforms on social media, men have been able to express their thoughts about all of this, and this has certainly raised awareness among women regarding the plight of men. And these women understand why more and more men are going their way and choosing to live their lives without women and the drama that is associated with relationships and commitments. Number 4. Workplace equality. With more and more men going their own way, there's more equality at the workplace. Let me tell you how. When men have decided that they don't be in relationships with women, when they have decided that they'd rather live their lives peacefully, which means they'll work as hard as ever, and stay out of any drama or politics, then this will automatically transcend into workplaces, and enable women to work side by side with them without them having any other agendas. For example, a man who is now mgtow goes to work at his large global organization on a daily basis. At work, he interacts with women, sits in board meetings with them, has them as his line managers or bosses, has them as his subordinates in his department. His focus is only going to be on work and getting the results. His focus is not going to be about asking a woman in the other department out. It's not going to shift to trying to flirt with some woman from the client who just visited. It's just going to be about work. And he's going to continuously deflect any advances on him made by women. So, in this context, men are winners because they get to live their life devoid of any drama, and women get to have a healthier working environment. Number 5, the younger generation. The biggest winner in all of this will be the younger generation of men who will realize that they too have options to navigate the murky waters of relationships and dating, and choose to go their own way if they ever want to, without being judged by society. The current generation will have done the hard work for them, and they will have insight into why men go their own way, what are the benefits, and what are the sacrifices men have to make in order to do it. More importantly, the younger generation will enter adulthood fully knowing the true nature of women, and how women tend to exploit men for their time, energy, and resources. They will have countless examples of women who lied and cheated in their relationships, only to get alimony and a comfortable living for the rest of their lives, living off of the hard work of a man who did nothing but help, love, and support her. The younger generation will therefore not make the same mistakes the men did before them. They will not jump into relationships where they are not sure about the girl. They will not make emotional decisions in relationships and will not ignore the double standards that women use against men in society. They will hold women accountable and call them out on their BS. They will already know if a woman tries to manipulate them or tries to do something to try and use or exploit them. They will be able to recognize the opportunist women who only enter relationships just to ride the success of one guy until his success declines, and then she monkey branches off to another guy to do the same. Overall, men are finally winning because more and more men are coming out telling the world that they're going their own way because they want peace and justice in a world that does not support men and instead turns a blind eye because all the laws are made to favor women, which women exploit to the fullest. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.